Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel, the After the Weigh-In show. Here after is, let's not say the most eventful weigh-in, but a very exciting card tomorrow, UFC Austin. I am pumped for it. I mean, I got a lot of content out on the channel. I'm excited to see if my co-host lines up with me, and I got no other than my good luck charm this weekend, the man, the myth, the legend, Lou Betcha. Welcome back on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel.
Yo, what's cracking? Let's get this card moving. I'm excited. Daron Nguyen looked great. Tony Kelly looked not so great, but a lot of good betting spots in this card. And I am going on vacation after this piece of content, so I'm very excited to have 2 days off. And I will be watching everything Sunday, so you guys can yell at me for my horrible picks then.
Well, for sure. I mean, well, not the horrible picks part, but Daron Nguyen was a win for us to see him on the scale. But definitely, you have been killing the game recently. If you guys want to know anything more about Lou's picks, I mean, he was drinking out of a shoebox last night, so I know it's a bit early for you. Two shoeboxes, man. You're a wild man. So, I mean, let's not waste any more time, man. There's 14 fights to cover. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Let's pull this up here. Of course, we got the old trusty best fight odds. I mean, the app's never buggy at all, right? No, but
we'll get it started. Hopefully, we'll be replacing that soon on a lot of people's broadcasts. That's all I have to say.
Is that it?
Hint. I have to say about that.
No, but as always, thank you for joining me, and I hope you do enjoy your weekend. So thank you for taking out the time, your busy schedule, to come break down some fights. I mean, I needed to get you back on. I had my first losing week in I think it was 7 weeks without you last weekend, and I need you back, man. I need that good luck charm.
I mean, I will take all the credit. It's fine.
Yes, you should. You should. I mean, I also had to put that cool mask in the what's it called, in the your profile picture for Twitter. You had to put that picture up whenever I do the stream.
The luchador mask.
Yes, the good looks. Anyways, I know we're head to head in a couple. Yeah, looks good, man. Well, I know we're head to head in a couple. I know we agree on some. Let's start off with the very first fight of the night. Kyle Daukaus 11-2, Roman Dolidze 9-1. We got Kyle Daukaus representing JP Buys tonight. I think it's going to be a fun fight. Of course, you have probably the more talented fighter in Kyle Daukaus and the rightful favorite, in my opinion. But he's facing a guy in Dolidze who, where he does have questionable fight IQ, I think is a decent fighter all around. He's got a decent skill set. You know what? He may be rolling for 1,000 leg locks, but he is a really good grappler, in my opinion. The question with him is gas, and both these guys are extremely durable, so I don't see necessarily finish that first round. So it's tough for me to want to place anything on Dolidze because he's probably going to gas out. He's going to make some mistakes, and for that reason, Daukaus is probably this way to go, but he's juiced. I have no play on this first one. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. How do you see this one going down?
I have Daukaus by decision, and I do have the fight goes as a backup. I think Dolidze's big advantage here is power. But even if you look at his win-loss record, he lost to Phil Hawes, or not Hawes. Was it Hawes? I have the wrong, or am I confusing people?
Daukaus? Daukaus lost to Hawes.
Daukaus lost to Hawes. I'm trying to think. I forget who Dolidze lost to. But his Dolidze's recent, if you look at his win-loss record, it hasn't aged too great. He beat Staropoli, he lost to Trevin Giles. He beat Staropoli, he's out of the company. Giles is whatever. John Allen is not he's by split. It's not a great win. Daukaus has fought the better guys. I think Daukaus does have an advantage on the grappling. To your point, I do think it's closer than people think it is, but I do think Daukaus has an advantage. He has a cardio advantage, whereas Dolidze has the power, Daukaus has volume. So if Dolidze doesn't get him out of there early, Daukaus just takes over. But Dolidze is tough, so I think the Daukaus decision at plus money is a great look. It's a great way to get that money line down. I know betting decisions are not thrilling to people, especially to lead off a card, and they're less thrilling knowing it's in Texas. But I think this just ends up being a clear 30-27 Daukaus.
Give me round 3 or decision props on Daukaus. I think he's the rightful favorite here. That being said,
you like the late finish possibility?
I do. It's just because I do think that Kyle Daukaus is skilled and will have the cardio advantage. And he's the guy who's going to go for finish. I think he's got good finishing equity here. Dolidze's faced guys who haven't been able to put him out because they've been just lower level fighters. So give me Daukaus. Am I biased because I met Kyle Daukaus? Sort of.
Shout out to that Philly boy, man.
Hey, well, he's sitting with his brothers in the main event, so I don't want to disturb him too much. But, I said what's up to my guy. Nice. Very respectful family. But, no, I'm picking Kyle Daukaus DraftKings-wise. I mean, he's at a really weird salary because he's got the main event ahead of him and then my favorite fight not to go the distance below him. He's sitting in the middle there, and where I don't think he has the most finishing equity and therefore not the highest ceiling, he is a decent cash play in my opinion, because I think he's durable enough to withstand the early onslaught of Delice and will therefore have a decent floor. I just can't roster him in too many GPP because I don't think he has that same ceiling. I don't see a first round finish. I don't see him landing a ton of strikes. I think he's got a nice solid like 80, 90 points in him. So I will have him.
Let me ask you a quick question, because we were talking about this last night with Monk. Like the 9K range and up looks dicey this week. Am I crazy that it looks like super weirdly dicey? Like, or am I wrong? Like, I'm just some of these people in the 9,000 range. Like, I think DePaul is 9,000.
Ramos, Yanez, Stamen,
like
Judavicius.
Yeah, like I mean, these are a lot of fights that I project going the distance. So, like, is it weird? Is this just like the weirdest 9K range you've seen in a while?
Well, I have to look at it from 2 points of view, right? I got to look at it from the Iron Man, the one where I only get one lineup I got to choose. And in that Iron Man, I can't really roster many of those guys up top because they don't have that same upside as like the Phil Hawes, as the Darius, anybody else in that 8K range. What I do have to look at it from the other side of the thing is if we're looking at GPPs, looking at being contrarian, you want that low ownership. And a lot of those guys up top, people are thinking just like you. They don't have that same finishing equity. They're going to be a lot lower owned than a lot of the people in that middle range. For that reason, there's some fighters I'm liking there. I think Gloria DePaula is so sneaky because she's going to have such low ownership, and we'll get to that fight in a second. But and I do think she has a high ceiling there. So there's certain people. I was talking about it with a couple guys today on Twitter. Yes, the 9K range is sketchy, especially if you're only playing one lineups. But if you're max entering all of them, like Stamen is facing a guy who could be knocked out by a gust of wind, right? So upsides are there.
Leave poor Eddie Wineland alone.
I'm sorry. I love his stash. But point being, the guys in the 9K are, you're right, a lot of them tend to go to decision, and for that reason don't have that same GPP upside as the 8K range. But I'm liking it to get sneaky. I'm feeling sneaky this weekend is all I'm going to say. So I'm not running to roster Jasmine Judavicius over a Phil Hawes or Calvin Kattar. But I am looking at some 9K range. But it is a very, very weak one this week. But we'll move on. Before we do, shout out to everybody in the chat. Doc is by Omoplata. That's
he's out of his goddamn mind. Tommy's out of his mind.
And then we got Eric saying, what's up? Yeah, everybody hit the like button below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Eric. And let's move on. Because we got 14 fights to cover. This one is definitely, it's going to be a fun one, but definitely not the most interesting one. Let's move along. Daron Nguyen, the man, the myth, the legend, the short king, the compound machine.
Walmart DC.
Walmart DC. Oh my God. 7-2 Daron Nguyen, 11-3 Phil Hawes. And I got some action on this one. I beat some live movement. So of course, the bet's going to lose now, right? CLV curse. But I think this one's a decently fun fight just because you have the probably more talented fighter, Phil Hawes, but he's the up and coming. He's the Walmart version of Michael Johnson. It's just this guy can slip on a banana peel at any time.
That's very accurate. That's a very accurate comparison.
Like he was doing really well against Chris Curtis, and he got knocked out by something I didn't even think was that powerful. Of course, Chris Curtis got really good power. We've seen that, just ask Brendan Allen, but I don't think it looked too good. And he just has these like round 3 against Imavov. I had a bet on Imavov. I was screaming at my television, but he just seems to have these holes in his game that seem to be just really affecting his style. And for that reason, I'm taking the under in this fight. I mean, you have a guy in Daron Nguyen where he isn't the most talented fighter, and whereas Phil Hawes will have the athleticism, the size, the striking advantage. He does one thing well, and he wrestles and he goes for it, right? So I think it's pretty simple. Either Phil Hawes is going to nuke him, Malkoun style, or Daron Nguyen is going to make him slip on a banana peel, push a pace, go for takedowns, challenge that 100% takedown defense. And for that reason, I don't mind Daron Nguyen this weekend because his win condition, not only on DraftKings, but also on the betting line, I think is a lot more prominent than plus 230 does entail. I mean, he's going to shoot takedowns. He's going to test that cardio. And whereas his striking is very, let's say, subpar to be nice, he throws looping shots that, and the way that Hawes has been reacting to punches recently, if they connect, definitely could be very dangerous. I'm on the under 2.5. I got that up. Sorry, I'm on the fight doesn't go. Got that at minus 120. There's some closing line value for you. Are you with me on that?
I have the exact same play. I think that
beautiful.
I think first of all, I'm still not 100% convinced this fight happens.
You're right.
I mean,
if any fight's going to be canceled.
It's already been canceled twice. I'm just glad Daron Nguyen made weight. Look, man, I'm not impressed with Nguyen at all. He was getting outlanded by Mearshart on the feet, which is not a good look. But Hawes just does dumb things here and there. Like Hawes should have a clear striking advantage, and Hawes is sneaky decent on the ground. I think people don't really rate him highly, but I think he's okay. He's not as good as Win here, but he can certainly keep the fight upright, which is what he needs to do. So, I mean, I side with Hawes, but the line's too wide for me. Like I think Win's the value side, but the under to me, you get both of them doing stupid things and you're covered. So I have the under 2.5. I missed the boat with the fight goes, but I think the under 2.5 is still super reasonably priced for a fight that I really don't see getting out of the first round, to be honest with you.
The only way you have that sweating is if Daron Nguyen just becomes a machine and just takes him down and drowns him, right? And for that reason, that's like, if I bet Daron Nguyen, like at what percentage is Phil Hawes winning a decision here?
Now he's 0. He's winning 0 decisions.
So if I bet, first of all, you can bet Phil Hawes finish only, but if I bet the fight doesn't go and a little bit on Daron Nguyen, aren't my bases covered? Like that's my. But anyways,
yeah, I mean, Win definitely has finishing potential here. Like I said, I don't think Hawes is awful on the ground, but I think if Win does get if he does get the wrestling going and is on top of him, like if that's how the first round ends, Hawes is dead in the next 10 seconds. So I think the time, like to your side, I think Win's the side value wise, but the time props seem very safe to me.
Before I get to Tommy here in the comments, the real question is, how much does that blonde hair affect your cap on this?
0, because Brunson lost, so now nobody cares. Like,
okay,
once blonde Brunson lost, that whole thing went away, and like it no longer matters once he got bonked.
All right, Tom asking if he should not have a Hayes in 100% of his lineups, and here's the thing, man. I think Hawes has an insane ceiling. I think that he is a great DraftKings target. I'm going to have him in a lot of my lineups.
First round.
But if we're looking at the other side of it, for sure. But if we're looking at the other side of things, Daron Nguyen, what's his win equity? It's takedown, cardio, looping shots, something to banana peel. Everything for him scores very well. There's no way if Nguyen wins, he scores less than 80, in my opinion, right? Like he has very, very good upside. So I'm having a lot of this fight. I think I'm like 90% owned to this fight as a whole. But I'm having some Daron Nguyen. Because if anyone's going to slip on a banana peel, it's going to be Phil Hawes. If anyone's going to land that looping shot, it's going to be Daron Nguyen. If anyone's going to test that gas tank of Phil Hawes, it's going to be Daron Nguyen. I think Phil Hawes wins this fight at a decently high clip. But just give me violence and give me a lot of ownership on DraftKings.
He chose violence.
Yeah, I did choose violence. That seems to be the theme for me today. And surprisingly enough, despite popular beliefs, it'll be the theme in the next fight as well. Look at this. We have the decision machine. Cody Stamann, 19-5-1 versus the mustache man himself, Eddie Wineland, 24-15-1. And I insulted him earlier, so I need to be careful with my words because I don't think you're too happy about that. Wineland is on the DL. He's on the decline. On the decline, and his chin has seemed to be tested recently, and something that hasn't looked too pretty. And I truly think if Cody Stamann's going to get a finish against anybody, it is going to be against Eddie Wineland, right? I think that the line is wide, but at the same time, it's kind of justified. I can't see Eddie Wineland winning much of this fight. If there's any problem on the feet at all for Cody Stamann, he got that wrestling in his back pocket. I know Wineland typically has pretty good takedown defense, but I think Cody Stamann's aside here. I think he's very sneaky on DraftKings because everyone sees all his decisions and thinks, man, this guy's too expensive. But on the other side of things, he's going to have low ownership and his ceiling is super high, not only with that finish upside that people can get on Eddie Wineland, but also that takedown upside he has. The real question is this a layup fight for Cody Stamann? Do people expect him to knock out Eddie Wineland? I mean, you'd have to think so, right? I do have a shot on Cody Stamann's side of the distance because if he's going to get a finish against anybody, it is going to be against Wineland here. However, I do understand the risk. I mean, for me, in my eyes, I got it at plus 195. I'm getting plus 195 on a guy who's minus 500 against a guy who's been knocked out in the first round of both his last fights and haven't looked good in the process. So call me crazy. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, there's no shame in getting knocked out by O'Malley in the first round. There is a shame in getting knocked out by Castaneda in the first round. So, yeah. So I don't have any action on this one. I
don't blame you.
I can't justify a bet on Wineland What I will say is this. The one thing that Wineland traditionally has been good at is the grappling, is keeping the fight upright, which is the worst thing he could do, to be honest, at this point in his career. And that's where Stamen excels. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out in that. Will Stamen just strike with him for 15 minutes? Like, you never thinking Cody Stamen should execute that strategy, but I think if he does, your in the distance prop definitely is very much in play. When Wineland's his chin is gone, and even Stamen, it's not even a matter of him being a power puncher. This could be a volume knockout too. So I'm with you on your play. I'm not going to get to the window on this fight. My initial reaction was fight goes, just knowing Stamen. But then when I really dug into the tape of Wineland, like, he had a fight book with Chito Vera, like last 2 years ago. God, that would have been like, we wouldn't be having this fight today if that fight happened. Like, he'd have died. So I think the Castaneda loss is a really bad look. And he's not even like, it's not just that he's washed. He's not even that active. He's fighting like, his last fight was 16 months ago. Like, I mean, we got a couple of guys in this card that haven't fought in a while, like coming up on the main card. It's hard to judge inactivity when you're a vet. Like, is it good that your body's healing, or is it bad that you're not getting your reps? So there's no way I can trust Wineland. It would be Stamen or pass for me with a prop. And good luck with the in the distance, man. Like, I think you can get there. I'm just not getting the window on this.
For me, I mean, not to throw out a bunch of unnecessary numbers, but Stamen's 83% implied to win this fight. However, the betting line I have is only 33% implied to finish, right? Whereas Stamen is notorious for going to the scorecards. I mean, he has the youth advantage, he has the athleticism advantage, he's going to have the grappling advantage, he has a durability advantage. It just 33% just doesn't sit well with me. I'd cap it happen a bit higher. So I think I only got 0.77 units on it. It's not a full unit bet. Kind of pussying out of it. But the same side of things, I do think that he is the rightful favorite here. I do think he finishes this fight, but you never know. It's hard to bet against a guy with a mustache.
There's no problem having a smaller unit bet when your bet is against somebody's trends and not for somebody's trends. I never think it's bad to go lighter on those sides. That's why I'm hesitant here. Like, that's the only reason I'm hesitant is, like, we know Wineland's chin is gone. We don't know if Stamen's going to be able to consistently connect. I think he will. But what if look, if he goes grapple heavy the first 2 rounds, you're going to hate your life. Like, you're going to hate it. Like, why isn't he striking with him? So you have to hope that he just executes the strategy.
For sure.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will go grapple heavy, to be honest. I don't think Stamen will. He doesn't seem like he has bad fight IQ. And last fight, he just got caught. He got caught by a better guy in a choke and sustained no damage. Like, it just happens. He got caught. But he took no damage. He wasn't dominated. Like,
the 2 words of the week are trigger discipline for me. I'm being really careful with my spots. And that's why I'm kind of frustrated at myself, is because this is a spot where I should have stayed back, because it's the line's wide. You have a decision fighter, but the durability for Wineland's getting there for me.
I think the line value, I think the value on the end of distance is great. Like, that's the price that I like that you got.
What is it now? Oh, CLV. So it's going to lose as well. But anyways, I did snag that up as soon as I could. Plus 195, tracked on Bet MMA Tips, a few days ago. So we're going to ride or die with our boy Stamen. Hopefully he gets his first UFC finish, but he does it in a nice way so that we don't feel too bad for Eddie Wineland. All right, let's move it along. Next fight up, we got the people's main event, Gloria DePaula, the GOAT, 6-4 versus Maria Oliveira, 12-5. Okay, Lou. Okay. So I know you want to talk for hours on this one. I know this is your fight of the night. I know you're ready to just lay it on me, but I think that I don't know how to put this without.
You were about to say murder, sounded like.
I was going to make a Hannah Cifers comparison, but I think Hannah Cifers would destroy Maria Oliveira. And I got to put respect to my girl, Hannah Cifers. But Maria Oliveira is not UFC caliber. I am not a fan of her. I watched way too much of her tape, hoping for this glimpse of maybe she can be okay. And I don't think she is. Is Gloria DePaula some world beater? No, she's not. But I truly think she has Maria Oliveira covered here. Not only she fought the way better competition, she has a path to victory on the ground. I think everyone has a path to victory on the ground. I think even Hannah Cifers has a path to victory on the ground against Maria Oliveira. And I know people are going to call me crazy for it. I think that price tag is justified. beat me with a bag of oranges, Wheezy. I have bet Gloria DePaula this weekend. It's your time. Lay it on me. How stupid am I?
I mean, I think DePaula is going to smoke her.
Oh, yes. That's what I want to hear.
And I think there's only two ways to play. Oliveira is not good. It's so crazy that they booked her against Marina Rodriguez like a while ago. Like, that might be the most lopsided fight I've ever seen in the Contender Series. I mean, probably not, submission. But like, maybe it's like top 5 most lopsided, especially looking back. You're like, who made this? Like, who thought this was close?
Who sanctioned it?
Right. So I think DePaula, like, look, I'm not super impressed. The Belbita fight was interesting. I'm not even sure she won that fight, but definitely super competitive. You know, like if you told me Belbita won, it's fine. Super competitive though. And she showed good cardio, which I was really impressed with. Like, she looked good in the 3rd round of that fight. I don't know where Oliveira is better. If DePaula wants to go to the takedown route, she'll get every single one. I don't know that she will, but she'll get 100% of her takedowns. The striking is worlds apart. And like, you know, DePaula's 6-4. Like, yeah, I get it. She lost to Jinyu Fry, who's a vet who can put vet lessons on people that are new. And she got caught by a head kick in 1 minute to Cheyenne Buys. Flitzmas. Cheyenne Fliss. I believe she was Cheyenne Buys at the time, though. But
Delitz is his girl.
But like, you get caught. Like, if you only get caught once in your career, it happens. Like, she got caught by a beautiful, perfect kick that I don't think anybody expected. So I think DePaul is better everywhere. You and I had talked about the end of distance props with her. I'm probably going to have a small unit play on DePaul in the distance. The only other way to play this fight is to parlay her, and I don't like doing parlays with chalk that big. Like, I just don't think it's a good strategy going forward. But that end of distance prop's kind of interesting. Like, it kind of has some appeal.
Here's the thing, Lou. This is not going on my track betting record because I can't bring myself to do it.
I would hope not.
It is untracked, but for all the people listening, I do have a bet on Gloria DePaul inside the distance. And it's not like the line's open and I rushed to go do it, but I was checking the lines last night and FanDuel got it wrong. It was plus 300 market wide and it was plus 550 on FanDuel. So I'm like, okay, I'll be that guy. I will take a shot on it at these weird odds. I'm not going to track it. If I'm being honest, it was not for that much money anyways. But I do think Gloria DePaul is a lot better everywhere. And if she loses this one, then I'm truly just like, okay, it's my fault. Like, I will take the L on my own because I'm the one betting on this fight.
By the way, Prince of Mischief in chat is the one that is the reason I did the 2 shoeies last night on the show.
Oh, what's up? Thank you to that, Prince of Mischief.
I can tell you that today my body is not happy that I did 2 midnight shoeies of Miller High Life.
Oh man,
I just had to get something for the house.
I haven't watched the full video, if I'm being honest. So
don't. Go back. You know what? Don't. Although I will say that you know what yesterday was the first monetized videos that I ever made for the MMAEngine. So thank you.
Nice.
To anybody, to all 1,000 of you guys out there, thank you very much.
But anyways, people just tuning in now, they're just seeing, okay, who's this Gordo Gambles guy? Oh, he's betting on Gloria DePaula. He's parlaying Gloria DePaula.
It would be worse if you were like, it'd be worse if he was like, you were betting on Maria Oliveira. We would have lost all the views.
Oh my God. I know I'm gonna get flack, especially if she loses, because it's Gloria DePaula. It's a possibility, but she's better everywhere. It's my mistake. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I'm digging myself a hole, but I do think she's the better fighter.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, shout out to people in the chat. Prince of Mischief said hello to you, Eric. Someone should inform Ariel that there's nothing in the unified rule stating you can't throw more than 1 strike at a time. Clearly missed the memo. That indeed. I mean, for those betting Maria Oliveira, first of all, congrats on your huge yam bags. But I don't know what you're seeing. I mean, there's nothing that appealing on tape at all. And if you look at the level of competition, it's not like, okay, sure, she lost to Marina Rodriguez, but like, who is she beating? Like, I can't. The more I talk, the more I want to bet on Gloria DePaula. I know that's so stupid. So we're just going to leave it at that. Next up, I love you, Lou, man. I can't believe I got you on here and I'm talking about betting Gloria DePaula.
Yeah.
Anyways, next fight up.
No better way to spend a Friday afternoon, in my opinion.
No better way to spend a Friday afternoon.
Don't even care if they're low level. Like, no better way to spend Friday afternoon, talk about fights, getting ready for the weekend. Like, nothing better, dude. If this whole card was like BS fights like that, still a good. It's still a card we can watch and bet on. So
exactly,
no problems here, man.
All right, next up, Danny Chavez, 11-4-1. Ricardo Ramos, 15-4. When I did the tape, this was one of the first dogs I saw. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm going to get there with you. I'm pretty sure I will. Danny Chavez, huge dog. And if we look at skill for skill wise, okay, grappling, maybe output, Ramos. Ramos should be the favorite here, but this line's really wide. Danny Chavez always fights super close fights. He throws with bad intentions. And I think that the takedown upside won't be there that much for Ramos. On the other side of things, it's not like Ramos is some incredibly intelligent man who fights a great game plan all the time. No, he puts himself into some risky situations. And for that reason, I'm leaning with Danny Chavez. I think his floor is definitely there on DraftKings. And I think his ceiling might be there as well. Just because if anyone's going to knock out here, I think it might be Danny Chavez. However, I'm calling a split decision. I know you're going to talk about that shortly. The reason I'm calling split may be due to the Austin judges, but I do think that Danny Chavez has a much better chance than that line does entail. Am I going crazy betting multiple units on it? No, it's a sketchy spot, but I do think that Danny Chavez should be lined a bit closer than the line is right now. I think I'm going to get around to betting that KO/decision prop, but we'll see. I haven't placed it yet. Are you with me on that one?
I'm on all the sides. Chavez decision, and Chavez split decision, which is 20-1. Chavez doesn't get a lot of finishes. I think he has 3 finishes. I mean, and they're recent, but like he's not really a traditional finisher. I know he throws harder, and it might come down to, I don't want to, at first I'm like, this is a minute winner versus moment winner kind of fight, and that Chavez could have the moments. But then, like, other than Ramos's jab, like, I went back, that Algeo fight was like, it's, by the way, such an excellent fight, like, to rewatch. Like, that's one of these ones you watch on tape that you're like, you almost wish you didn't know who won going into tape. Algeo's a dog, man. Like, and I think Chavez is going to bring maybe not the exact same tireless style that Algeo does, but kind of the same. Going to be hard to hurt him. And really, we talk about Ramos's grappling. I don't think he's a great grappler. I think he's a good back taker, but I don't think he's like a guy that's going to go out there and can grapple for 10 to 12 minutes. Like, I think Chavez can hang in there. And I think if Ramos is just winging like a lot of like jabs that aren't really doing anything, Chavez could have like 3 or 4 massive leg kicks in a round and steal it. He could do more damage with fewer shots. So the pick is Chavez. I think the line's crazily wide, but all the decision props for me, Chavez's decision is crazily priced for a guy that does not get a lot of finishes. And the split decision is 20-1 in Texas. Like,
that's the Lou I know and love.
Like all day, man. And this isn't even my only split decision I took on this card. We'll get to the other one. But my God, like 20-1 for a fight that's gonna, again, if it's gonna go the distance 9 out of 10 times and you think it's mispriced, you take that dog split decision. I'm sure Tim Troiano's ears are ringing because I know he's probably like, oh yeah, Lou, I had this Tuesday. You know, like Tim and I are like, we love those props, but 20-1, man. And I got nothing more to say about this fight. I just think Ramos is not as good. I don't rate him as high as most. And I don't think Chavez is a world beater, but he's tough. And his leg kicks are nasty. So visible damage could be interesting in this fight.
Dude.
Brah.
So I apologize for looking to the side. I was looking at lines. Did you see this?
What?
Plus 700 for Chavez decision.
Yeah, it's insanity. Look at it, and look at his in the distance prop. A guy that doesn't get finishes. I was shocked that it's the balance here. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, like, I don't. How do you like? You're saying if there's a finish, it's from the Chavez side. I don't know how he finishes him unless he like gets lucky and wings a bomb.
Yeah, and it's not like he has the most finishes, but he does throw with bad intentions.
Yeah, but he doesn't land. I mean, that's the thing is like he's not accurate. Like, but those leg kicks, and he's not going to get a TKO from leg kicks. I mean, look, I get that it's happened like before, but
not against Ramos.
No. So I think all those time props are. I think this fight goes the distance 9 out of 10 times. Like,
I might take it on points. So I was scouring. I promise I was listening to, but I was scouring all the books here. And you can get KO or decision at plus 333. Or you can just take the decision at plus 700. I think if I'm going to play anything,
the plus 33 is not bad either. I mean, I don't think he's knocking him out, but like he's not. But I'll tell you what he's not doing. He's not submitting him. He's definitely not winning by sub. So
then we go back to the magical words of the week. This is called trigger discipline. Do I have some this week?
I don't
will
like
say
those,
though is
I don't like those words.
I do not
I
either.
like the betting part.
What I did say though, on my current MMA best bets video of the week, I did it earlier in the week, and I gave out Chavez by decision as one of my bets I was going to take. So I have to take it, right? I mean, I gave it out. I got to take it. Plus 700 seems to be the magical number. We're on the dog this week. Dog or pass for me after the line is too wide. Give me Chavez. Let's hope he gets it done for us. Of course, it's hard to trust judges in Austin, but I'm going to do it anyways. All right. Shout out to everybody hanging out. We got a question for Lou. Why do you like to sweat 15 minutes for a split decision? I'm going to answer that for Lou before he gets to it. Big numbers. Go ahead.
Because I'm a sick man that does sick things. And I mean, that's probably the main reason. But the secondary reason, it's not only the big number, but it's like betting. Like nobody wants to bet unders in like the NFL, in soccer. Like nobody likes betting unders because then you're just sitting there like with your butthole clenched, like hoping that nothing happens. But the fact of the matter is the odds makers know that nobody wants to bet unders. So these lines are priced in a certain way, like to entice you to bet overs. Because like, so to me, like when you look at these decision props, I know a lot of people just don't like doing them. But the reason they have such great value is because they know everybody just wants to hammer like in the distance lines. That's why you're never getting true lines for in the distance either. There is a line on this card that's in the distance that I think is priced wrong, but we'll get there.
Okay. All right. We will get there indeed. All right. Let's move on. Next fight of the night.
By the way, Gordo, but the primary reason though is because I'm a sick man. That is the primary reason why I go through that. I put myself to this torture.
See, I was asked to go on Lambeau Place tonight, but I got a beer league game. Of course, beer league hockey is the way to go. Absolutely. My team name there, the Degenerates.
Not the
I bring my betting style over. No. We're the Degenerates, and if I'm betting on Gloria DePaula, I'm definitely a degenerate. But anyways, moving along, we have my arch nemesis, Court McGee. I'm just kidding. I love Court McGee. We got Court McGee 21-10 versus Jeremiah Wells 10-2-1. The elephant in the room here is that Renzo Gracie Philly, are they going to stay undefeated? It's tough. You got the explosive guy, the young athletic Jeremiah Wells versus just this rock of a man, Court McGee. He's durable. He's got cardio. I've struggled trying to fade him in the past. It hasn't worked too well. It's a good fight. Do you think that the youth athleticism power takes over early for Wells, or do you think that Court McGee drowns him over the stretch?
So, I mean, I agonized over this one a lot too. I put out my pick today for it. I'm on the McGee side. I like rooting against Philly, bet against Gracie, Renzo Gracie gym at your own, The thing is like McGee's already faced somebody from that gym. He fought Sean Brady in what was like an awesomely close contested fight. I know they're different styles, but Sean Brady's the best guy out of that gym, in my opinion. I mean, Sabatini second, but Brady is like, to me, by far their clearest. I don't want to hear Petrosky, I guess, is that's a good win last time. But Brady is the one that has the best path to the title. I don't know what to make of Wells. I mean, look, you can't let's forget about his last fight against Blood Diamond. That shouldn't have been sanctioned. Blood Diamond's an idiot. And Wells still almost and he fell over in like 9 seconds. The fight before that was Worley Alves, I believe. And Alves is like another guy and that was short notice from Wells. And Alves has like 3 minutes of cardio and like what he loosely calls martial arts, just like flailing his limbs. And second round started, Wells just bonked him immediately. So that was the end of that. I don't know where Wells is better here, other than like a slight power advantage. I don't think he's that much more powerful than McGee. He's not going to have a volume advantage. Experience, I don't need to talk about. But McGee knows how to make fights ugly. And Wells has had a few decisions in his life, but this is lower level MMA, not against a guy like this. So I like the McGee side. I got the number yesterday, so I missed like the whole, I didn't get him at plus money, but I still think this price is super reasonable. But the way I like betting this fight, and I won't be able to do it because I won't be around, I would bet this fight live after round 1 because
I agree.
To me, Wells' winning condition is a round 1, like round 1 smashing. But I do think the only round Wells is going to probably have a lot of success is the first round. You might get Court McGee at plus 250. And I think that McGee easily can take over in the last 2 rounds. So I love that as an angle. I'm on the McGee side. McGee by decision if you really wanted to go that route. But this is one of those fights where I just rather root for McGee. I actually think a finish is live round 3 for McGee here. I really do.
I was looking at that.
He's a scary dude, man. Like, he's a scary dude. And he's got, like, again, he's kind of got underrated power. He just doesn't strike. Like, he doesn't strike. He doesn't like, that's not his, the preferred way he wants to fight. He wants to make it a grinding, ugly affair. I just don't trust Wells' cardio in the third. McGee could get him out of there, man. There you go. Prince of Mischief says the opposite of a split decision bet. Calling a round 3 prop on this.
Wild, man. I couldn't, like, this was the fight that exemplified the trigger discipline for me. I was close to making a bet on Court McGee, but I mean, Wells is so explosive, and it's going to be causing problems for a guy in McGee. I think that McGee is a grizzled vet. He's got a great game plan. I think he probably should win this fight, but there's so many variables in that athleticism of Wells that is almost unmatched. I think that the ground game is definitely there for Wells, even though Court McGee's a stud. And it's going to be one of those other ones. It could be just the big moments. I think that Jeremiah Wells is going to have the bigger moments in the first 2 rounds. So I'm staying off of it. I'm picking Court McGee to win. I'm picking Court McGee in cash plays because I do think he's durable, especially on
what's his price tag? Like 8,000?
8,000 on the dot.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price tag for him, to be honest. Like, and not only that, but like, you always like getting guys on like a DraftKings lineup where the line flips, but like it happens after they price them, so you're always getting that, like, what, I don't know what you love that. You have to.
Yeah.
It's not a free square. I don't call it it's not the free square, but like, it's the next best thing.
See, I was this close to betting McGee by decision because I thought like that's his major win condition, but I stayed back. I remembered how much money Wells made me against Blood Diamond, and I'm just going to move on from this one. Lot better spots.
The round 3 decision prop might be interesting for McGee also. It seems, that might be all right. I don't know what you have it priced at, but I can look it up right now. I'll see what
I gotta go on my phone for that.
I got it up.
Anyways,
I got it up. I'm looking it up. I'll find it.
I'm passing on this one. I like Court McGee. I like Jeremiah Wells. Give me some good action, but I will sit back and enjoy it. What do you got in the line there?
I don't know where the hell it is.
I know FanDuel's got it, but it's one where I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. And DraftKings wise, I'm not overly targeting this fight because I do think it goes a distance a lot of the time. But like you said, $8,000 cash play, Court McGee.
Here we go. Hold on. I'm on.
You're almost there.
Now I'm on DraftKings. McGee rounds 3 or decision. Maybe that's not so great. Plus 110. That's not really. Plus 110 is not. No, I thought maybe you get a little more edge. So I wouldn't even bother with that one then.
Apparently, Pat Sabatini's gonna be waiting for Lou to bat with a parking.
I ain't worried about Sabatini striking with me. I'm worried about him taking me to the ground just at my 34-second cardio that I have.
Did you see who Sabatini's fighting?
Damon Jackson, right?
Of course.
I mean, I think Sabatini's gonna fuck him up. But
for sure.
But I like Damon Jackson, but like, he looked great. He didn't look so great last fight.
He underestimated his opponent.
Big difference between beating up Charles Rosa and beating up Sabatini.
Yeah.
Like, now, it's going to be curious. I don't want to handicap that. I don't want to break that fight down yet. But you know what's going to happen there, right? 2 credentialed grapplers. What's going to happen for 15 minutes?
Strike.
Of course. They're just going to stand up the whole time. People are going to be like,
anyways,
what the hell is this? For
sure, man. Moving along. This is the fight. I mean, we broke down Gloria to Paula, and I still think this is the fight to fade, in my opinion, because I have more action in the Gloria Paula fight than this one. I couldn't bring myself to bet it. We have the 12-5-1 Talia Silva versus the 7-1 Canadian Jasmine Jasudavicius. And I love my Canadian gals, but I couldn't bring myself to make a bet on this one. This line's extremely wide. I know Natalia Silva is the people's darling this week, and everyone's betting on her, but I can't bring myself to do that either. Huge pass. I do think that Jasmine probably grinds her out to decision, but I'm not going to put any money on this one. I just think this one is going to be pretty sloppy, and I definitely think if you were on the Jasmine side, you're probably worried about all those exchanges, but especially on the ground. Give me the Canadian girl, but no wanting to use this fight at all. Even on DraftKings, 9.1K for Jasmine, absolutely absurd. Just pass.
Any value on Silva for you on 7,100? Any value?
Her upside scores well. Her upside, and I mean, I get people betting that submission line, but at what percentage you get it? I think Jasmine's pretty good on the ground. I think she's able to defend for herself. Like upside there, DraftKings for sure. But you can't get me to play her in more than like 10% of my lineups, because there's other people down there who have a very similar win condition, and that's a finish, but I see them getting it more often. So I'm passing this fight altogether. I'm cheering for my Canadian gal, but no bets, nothing any DGen either. This is also going to be a stay away.
Yep.
You agree?
Yep. I mean, you can't get to that. There's no way I'm laying that price with Jasuda Vicious. Also, I probably am still really mad about the Kay Hansen fight. It's possible that I'm like a little biased here. The only thing I'm going to say is this. Anybody who's on the Silva side, and I've seen a lot of Silva late sub props, I don't know what you're seeing. She hasn't fought in 2.5 years. Everything's by armbar. Like, there's no variation. Like, she's beating everybody by, like, the same one move. So, like, if this stays standing, because Jasuda Vicious's takedown defense is decent. If this stays standing, I don't know that Silva, unless she bum rushes her, I don't know how she gets her out of there. And if it hits the ground, it's probably going to be Jasuda Vicious on top, winning minutes, unless she gets caught. So I don't know how Silva wins this fight outside of a fluky armbar from guard. So I just don't get it. Like, I don't want anything to do with this fight.
And you know us Canadians, right? We train by wrestling polar bears in our igloos. So
obvious. Well, with maple syrup, like with maple syrup on to attract them. No, I know it's every trope ever.
So Jasmine's going to be tough. She's dealt with more. Anyway, so we're going to move on. Next fight up, we got, the people's favorite fighter, Tony Kelly,
boy.
Missing weight today, coming in at 8-2. Adrian Yanez, 15-3. The Dr. Pepper man did make weight, whereas Tony Kelly did not. This is one where I've been looking at it all week. Like, the signs say Adrian Yanez. I mean, but he's the Jeff Molina of this week. I mean, everyone loves him. Everyone thinks he's going to win, but he's getting a guy, Tony Kelly, who I think the line's a bit wide. I don't know how the weight will affect it that much. That's kind of the reason I'm passing on this one, was because the weight could give Tony Kelly, like, maybe decided he didn't want to cut weight. But at the same time, he didn't look great. So I do think Adrian Yanez is a much better striker. I think that the pressure of Tony Kelly may cause some problems, but I do think Adrian Yanez wins. You got to take in, he's in his home state. You got to take in that it's Texas, so the judges are questionable. But you also got to take in that durability of both guys. So the over is definitely live. The round 3 for Yanez, in my opinion, is live. But I do think that Yanez pieces him up. Don't think it scores that well on DraftKings. I think if it's on DraftKings, you're dog or pass on Tony Kelly. But it's a weird fight for me. And I don't want to say a pass on 3 fights in a row, but I'm leaning towards a pass. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, this is one of my bigger plays. I have the most exposure on this fight, I should say. So one of my biggest bets I have is fight goes to distance. I think they are both incredibly durable. I know, and I talked about this on one of these shows. I'm losing track of what I did.
Busy man.
But the big thing for me is that Yanez is such a slow starter. I mean, there is a universe where Randy Costa knocks him out in round 1. There's a universe where he's done. I don't hate the Yanez after round 1. You're going to get an excellent. It depends on the price, obviously. Like, it depends on what price you get. I mean, are you going to get him plus 300 after round 1? Probably not. Are you going to get him even money? Maybe. I mean, it depends on the damage done, but to me, if you just go by Yanez's historical trends, he starts slow, you're going to give me round 1 with Kelly. Could he make it ugly in one of the other 2 rounds and steal it? Yeah. So I love fight goes. I don't see the finish here. Fight goes is plus money. I love it. I'm on the Kelly side by decision. I know, here we go again. But Kelly split decision at plus 2,200 is insanity to me. Again, it's another fight that's just going the distance 9 out of 10 times. Give me the guy who is going to at least win 1 round. And I like just fight to end in a split period. I mean, I like the Kelly side because of the value, but I mean, this is a fight that's just, if you think it's going to go to a decision and it's in Texas, you may as well take the split decision prop and just get 4 or 5 to 1, depending on the fight. So that's all I got to say here. I can't say I'm rooting for Tony Kelly as a human, but hard not to. I mean, the price is wild, man.
Yeah,
Are we boring? Am I boring you?
No, I'm looking up some lines here for you, man. I think I may have found a bet on this one.
On Bet, what's your bet?
Oh, on Betway? Okay, if we think about it this way, Giannis isn't going to win round 1. Tony Kelly is pretty durable, but he did have a bad weight cut. What is the win criteria for Adrian Yanez?
Knockout.
Round 3 or decision, you think, right?
I
don't see him finishing in the first round.
I honestly don't think. I think a lot of times he doesn't win a decision here. I think Kelly could, like, again, if you know he's gonna like start out slow. Oh, we don't know for a fact, like the fight hasn't happened. But if you know he likes to give the first rounds away, are you really gonna bank that he guarantees he wins the second and third? Because I'm not. Like, and what if Kelly goes to grappling? Like, Giannis never been taken down.
UFC Austin.
Like, I get it, but like, Kelly certainly, he looked all right on the ground against Costa when he got the finish. Like, I know he didn't it wasn't grappling, but like they got there. Kelly's going to be a bigger dude. Why can't it happen? Like, I lay on him for a whole round. Like, I think Yanez may need to win by knockout. So
Yanez round 3 decision, which in my eyes is probably his win condition, because I think Tony Kelly is pretty tough.
Even money?
It's plus 125.
That's not bad.
So you're cutting down a favorite who's what, minus 280?
You really only have to, at that point, you're really just fading round 2. That Giannis doesn't get him out of there in round 2. I think that's where you fade that. But I'm on the other side of this one, man. Lines 2. If this was a pick, I'm on Yanez. Like, this price is crazy wide, dude. Crazy. It's crazy wide price.
It is.
He's a victim of his own hype. He's a victim of his own hype train, to be honest. Like,
all of UFC Twitter is just,
I said this. I was saying this yesterday. Like, there's just going to be public sides like the Yankees, Manchester United, Dallas Cowboys. There's just teams that are public teams where they are intentionally weighted a little higher because they know the public's going to hammer them. Like, Dallas Cowboys are always 1 or 2 points. Their spread is 1 or 2 points more than it should be because they know people are going to blindly bet the Cowboys. I think a lot of people are blindly betting Yanez here because they hate Tony Kelly. So it's like, that's why the price is so wide to me. I think Yanez should be minus 200.
Like, I know we talked about trigger discipline, but I'm tempted.
And as far as Prince of Mischief says about like laying on him, he might lose because they're favoring damage. Yeah, but if Yanez does no damage, I mean, and that's Kelly can make these fights so ugly. Like, this isn't going to be like Master Z, where he like had a takedown and then 8 seconds later Molina was up. Like, if Kelly gets him down like on his ass against the cage, I don't think Yanez is going to get up for the rest of the round. I think Kelly can just pin him there, land a couple of shots, maybe not do a ton of damage, but I'm telling you, you look at Kelly's tape, he knows how to get these ugly, ugly wins. So
he does.
Value side.
All right, maybe I'll stay away from it. We'll have to see. But I don't
think I have any more. I don't think I have any more decision bets the rest of the way. So
okay, good.
We've Violence out of those. Way. Yeah.
All right, next up, Gregory Robocop Rodriguez coming in a record of 11-4. Julian, Mr. Miley Cyrus Marquez 9-2. The guy who fumbled the bag on Miley Cyrus. This is man, I got to be careful with what I'm saying because I don't like to pass a lot of these fights.
That's what you have me here for.
I think that this is going to be a close fight. I think that Julian Marquez is too tough for his own good. I will never forgive him because I did bet on Maki Pitolo. So I'm still mad at Julian Marquez. And I think it's just a really fun scrap. I lean the overs, actually, because Marquez is so tough and Rodriguez is shown to be tough himself. So I kind of want the over. Now, Rodriguez didn't show the best fight IQ, but if he wanted to, he could probably just take Marquez down and clinch him and probably beat him up in close quarters the same way Maki Pitolo did. But is he going to do that? No, I think he's trying to make it fun. And I think it's going to be a striking fair. I think it has fight of the night potential. But I don't necessarily want to lay chalk on Rodriguez. And I definitely don't want to bet on Marquez, who has this path to victory against him. And for that reason, it's either an over or a pass, for my opinion. DraftKings-wise, I'm going to target both of them because they're going to be in a fun scrap. But the official pick is going to be Rodriguez by decision. What are your thoughts on this one?
Literally the exact opposite. I'm on Marquez in the distance. And I have a round 3. And I have a round 3 play here.
Damn.
The one thing, first of all, Rodriguez took the fight. It's short. People are saying it's short notice, but really, it's a couple of weeks ago, so it's not a big deal in terms of I'm not worried about that. The one thing I am worried about is Rodriguez is starting to get into a lot of wars. Got into a war with the Iron Turtle. Got into a war with Petrosian. Did not go for any takedowns last fight. I don't know why he decided not to go for takedowns, but I didn't like the fight IQ. I worry about the durability, and Marquez is not the guy you want to go to fight. Like, I don't think Marquez is great. And I'm not worried about his Alvey win. Like, okay, like great, you got a submission. Like when Alvey, like come on. But the one thing I do know is Marquez's durability is great, and I don't trust Rodriguez's cardio. I don't trust his fight IQ, and I'm starting not to trust his chin because Park had him wobbled. Yeah, Park had him wobbled. Trojan wobbled him, and I think Marquez hits hard enough to get him out of there. The reason I like in the distance here is I don't know how Marquez wins a decision. It's one of those things where it's Marquez late. Marquez could catch him in the first, I guess, but he's not a traditionally fast starter. I'm still upset we got deprived of him against Jordan Wright. I thought that would have been a hilarious like meme fight, but I'm on the Marquez side. I love the finish potential for him, and I love the round 3 play. Like a round 3 knockouts, 18-1, I believe. I just looked the round 3 outright; it was 12-1 on my book. He has a couple of submissions. I don't think he's getting a submission here, but I can't discount it against a very tired fighter. And Marquez does like his chokes. So I don't want to discount the possibility of a sub, but I would just take the round 3 finish.
Marquez is super tough. This is the line I saw somebody, I forget who it was. So
Wheezy's on it. Wheezy.
Yes.
Big time. He's on this one big time.
Yeah, Marquez is so tough, man. Too tough for his own good. And he definitely has finishing potential. Wobbly Gregory, man. His fight IQ, it didn't look so good as last time.
Wobbly Gregory.
Here. I think it's gonna be a really fun fight. I have no action on it. I'm trying to be careful and smart this weekend, but I don't mind your shots. You're a very convincing man. All right.
It's a fade on the wars that he's like. At some point, man, you get enough of these wars. Doesn't take too much to get that chin. And Marquez's durability is like, the dude used to hang out with like a porn star, so we know his cardio is good. Cardio's solid.
He has to out Miley Cyrus. Anyways, that's a great main card opener. This next one is probably, let's say, the second highest level bet of the night. This is one I really need your help on. This is the one where I'm waiting to press this bet mode button and just hammer it, but I haven't done it yet. We have the 23-1 Damir Ismagulov, 12-2 Guram Kutaladze. I'm butchering names, but I think I did that one okay. This is the one where
Bert would be disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Damir Ismagulov against Guram Kutaladze.
Now, I haven't bet this one yet, and I was really waiting to because I think it's going to be an extremely high technical affair. But I need to see how Damir is going to look on the scales because we know that Guram's going to come in shredded to the core. Man, that guy is ripped. But it's a weird fight because you have a guy who hasn't fought in 2 years in Guram, where he did win his last fight out against Gamrot. Questionable. I bet Guram. I'm not going to complain about the decision. But
he did take that. He took it on short notice also. It was a very short notice fight.
For sure. But I don't know how much I'm getting from him. I think that Damir is very, very technical. And whereas I'm going to give the power advantage to Guram, I don't necessarily know how good his ground game is. I don't know how good his output is. There's a lot of question marks I have on him. And I think that Damir is a rightful favorite. But earlier in the week, this line was getting out of hand. I was going to bet on Damir when he hit -140. I should have. But at -170, the implied probability of him winning that fight as many times as that line says he should isn't there. I think Guram is a great competitor. I think he's going to keep it close. But from a technical perspective, I was going to bet Damir. The reason why I have not is because we're in Texas. This is probably going to hit the judges' scorecards. I think it definitely is. And for that reason, you have to keep that in mind when you're capping these fights. I definitely think Guram could edge out another decision this way just because of who's judging it and because he hits hard, hits like a truck. So I don't know. And I don't know if I'm going to get there. If it drops back down to -140, I'm sure I'll bet Damir. But the line looks like it's going to stay around that -160, -170 mark. I don't know if I'll get there yet. But I'm definitely leading the Damir side. What about you?
There's so many unknowns here in this fight. We haven't seen Guram in forever. We haven't. But we know he had a knee injury. He also trains with Khamzat. So what's Damir going to do?
So does Alan Amadowski.
Okay, fair enough. Fair point. But this is minute winner versus moment winner kind of thing. It's Damir's going to just piece him up with a jab. Guram could land some hard shots. Ismagulov has the better resume. Guram has the better win. I would say he definitely has the better win of anybody. It's dog or pass for me. I have not made a play here yet. I do think Ismagulov can piece him up for 15 minutes volume-wise. But the power, I think the grappling is going to be negated here. I don't think anybody has a true edge. I do think it stays standing 15 minutes. And that being the case, if anybody's going to go to the ground, I think it would be Ismagulov, but I don't think he will. And if it stays standing for 15 minutes, like Grom has the power to get this guy out of there. So I'm laying off for now. It's dog or pass if I get to the window on this one. I do think Demir is the more skilled fighter, but he's not going to get him out of there. And I really don't want to be holding that minus 170 ticket on what I think is going to be a super close decision.
For sure.
And if there's a finish, you know where it's coming. The KO prop is plus 350, which I don't hate at all. Like if you're going to play, like I like that as a backup play to his money line, but I don't know if I'm going to get there yet.
Yeah, I mean this is perfect. I mean he's so technically good that he does so many things right, and whereas I do think that he may have the path to victory in the ground here, I don't think he'll need it. He throws some great straight punches. He's very technically sound on the feet, and whereas Grum's going to hit hard and probably win the moments volume wise, I think not even damage wise, but I think he's going to be landing more. So I think Demir's the side here, but the reason why I'm saying he doesn't favor him Texas wise is because the judges in Texas are just notably inconsistent. And if they're going with the recent trends of damage wins fights, I do think that the power of the punches may be on Gurum's side. So I'm kind of staying away from it.
Demir's not going to damage him. I mean, it's going to be like he makes it look like an exhibition when he's out there.
Yeah.
But and there's just too many unknowns for me on this one. Like I really wish we could have seen Kudaladzé fight more recently. For
sure. I hope he fights more after this.
And I don't know that he won that fight. Again, I don't know that he won his last fight. It was a close split decision. But the fact is, on really short notice, super competitive with a guy who's headlining a card next week is super impressive to me. So I think the skill set's awesome. It's the layoff is such a concern here, though.
Yeah, and I was going to bet the over, but it's juiced. So
the over's telling you take the Demir side. Like, I mean, that's what it's telling you, but yeah, I don't know.
I think this would be a great fight. This is going to be one that I'm definitely going to enjoy watching. Am I going to get to the window and betting Demir? I don't know yet. I'll have to see. But let's move on. That was a good shot. I guess we're head to head on that one technically. So good luck. But haven't locked anything in yet. Next up, this is where my bets come into play. And see, I know I'm going to jinx it by even bringing it up. But did you see who's leading the Lock of the Night challenge?
I did, and I saw who's in second place too. I think that's really interesting that you two are going head to head.
I DM'd him about it too. Great guy.
Was that guy Fitbull like in first for the whole time, and now like where'd he go?
Yeah, he missed a couple. I've hit 8 events in a row, so of course he's going to end now because I jinxed it. But my Lock of the Night is in this fight right here. This is the one spot. This is the one spot I bet. Like a few days ago, I had one bet in the entire card. It's this fight right here. I'm on the under. I'm on violence. And a lot of you guys may recognize the 14-4 Joe Queen Buckley from his famous knockout of the year. Of course, great knockouts. I bet Impa there. I couldn't even be mad because that was just some ninja stuff there. Versus the 15-3 Albert Duraev. Now, for me, this is very, very simple. You have the better grappler, the guy who has the better ground game, but who's relatively untested in Albert Duraev. Can Buckley be taken down and controlled? Just ask Al Hassan, which is not a good look. But on the same time, we have a guy in Duraev who looked like he wanted to strike last time out, which didn't look good, who looked like not the best striker, and who's been knocked out by Ramazan Ameev, versus a guy in Buckley who's known for having that notorious power, that insane, just weird strikes. I don't know. This has violence written all over it for me. I think it's either Duraev early, getting him down, getting him out of there, or Buckley taking over. I see it happening either way. My favorite play this week is the under 2.5 at minus 150. I like that. That's my play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Yeah, and you can't trust either guy. Again, you kind of said it all, but like the way Duraev loses is getting knocked out. Buckley certainly has that power. I'm not sure I love his fight IQ anymore. But one thing I got to say against Buckley is you're talking about the Al Hassan fight. He was getting tripped over and over and over. I think he got tripped 4 times in the 3rd round. Like trip, takedown, done. Trip, takedown. Like I'm not saying he did a lot, but the fact that Buckley was going down so easily. So if this hits the ground, the fight's over. I think that's it. I don't know that, and it could be by sub or knockout. I don't think it matters with Duraev. But if he's stupid, if his fight IQ is bad here, then he's
dangerous.
He's getting knocked the F out. So I think the under's safe either way. And I have a poke on under 1.5 as well, real small. I think that like if Duraev gets him down in the first minute, he wins round 1. Like the fight's over in round 1. And if he wants to stand striking for 5 minutes, he's just asking for it. Like I know against Kopylov, like he waited till the second round, but like this is not the guy you want to wait till the second round to start grappling with.
See, there's two sides of this. In one, you question that fight IQ of Duraev and saying, is he gonna be able to do it here? On the other side, that lackluster performance lights a fire in his ass, and he's ready to go out there and prove people that he's still good on the ground, still elite. So I love watching his Fighting Tender series. Those rabbit punches to the face were hilarious. But I do think it's a decent matchup for him here. Either way, give me that fight on DraftKings, give me that under. Damon asking, where can I see the lock of the night? At MMAEngine. He's the guy who runs the contest. He does a great job of running it. Lou, man, you got to get in there next time. But
I know. I think he went away. Like he went away for a week, and then I went away for a week, and then he's like, "Oh, I started," and I'm like, "Can I tell you picks that won last week?" And then we just count them as wins for me, and I'll enter the 500. I'll be in the next. I'll be in the next one with him.
So I'm in the year-long one, right? That one's stressful, man. Being in first place among like
it's you and Levy, your top 2, right?
No, it's John Kelly now.
Oh, John Kelly. Oh man, don't make me. It's like, dude, you're gonna really make me root between my children? It's terrible. This is awful, man. Like, you're the nicest guys that did DFS. John's such a good dude. Like, maybe you guys could just chop it up. Oh
yeah, I was telling them we should just use the same picks rest of the year. But no, we had half the year to go, so there's still a lot left to go. I know I probably jinxed it now, but that's my play this week. I'm on the under. I'm on violence. I tend to pick violence on these. I took the under and the Na Liang as my lock of the week last week.
I take violence on John Kelly's show every week, I think, too. I feel like I've only done time props on his show.
See, I'll be back on that roundtable starting next 2 weeks from now.
Very nice.
Taking a hiatus.
He's not doing it He's not doing it this week because he's at the U.S. Open.
Oh yes. Anyways, Alessandro Buckley back after 15 minutes. One going to guess. Yeah, for sure. That's not a good look for Buckley. I mean, I think Duraev definitely has that round 1 path to victory. Just can he implement it? Is he smart enough? I don't know. I hope he is. Give me either way. Give me violence. All right, let's move it along. Next fight up. Woo! We got our boy Kevin Holland fighting again. Kevin Holland 22-7. Tim Means 32-12-1. And I'm very happy that Kevin Holland took a step back from crime fighting to fight again this weekend.
He left Gotham.
Yeah, like what is he doing? Getting all these guys? I think it's hilarious. But facing a guy here in Tim Means, and I told you I was the idiot betting Gloria DePaula, and I didn't bet her straight. I parlayed her with this man right here. I'm on Kevin Holland as well. I think that Kevin Holland is such an accurate striker. I think he's improving on his game. I think he's still young, wants to do well. I think he beats Tim Means this weekend. Tim Means hasn't reacted well to punches recently. Of course, that grappling is there, but I think Kevin Holland is working on good aspects of his game. The drop down to 170, the power he's translating. The first punch KO. I mean, I would love to see that. But not only am I on Holland to win, I do think he wins a lot of the time. I'm huge on him on DraftKings, and I snagged some of that plus 1,100 submission line just because I had to sprinkle it when it was still there. So I'm being a degenerate. I think Holland wins this fight. I think he wins inside the distance. I love that play. What about you?
Holland by meme KO is the play.
Meme KO? Joe Buckley meme KO or like?
Oh yeah, by like some hilarious like he may just invent some move. I mean,
so
hometown boy, he's gonna put on a show. The subs live, I get it, especially because Means has been susceptible to it. Means has a clear path to victory here too. Like he does. Clear? If he wanted to, I'm saying is if he wanted to implement the grappling, but he just doesn't have an interest in doing it for 15 minutes. He uses it to get out of trouble more than he does to win rounds. I'm saying is, do I think he has an advantage on the ground? Until Holland proves otherwise, yes. Until Holland shows me in a 15 or 25-minute fight that he can sustain that, yes, I do. But Means it's going to stand up with him, which is dumb. And Holland's just going to like square in the nose. I think round 2, I'm with Tommy. That's my little prop I have here. I think he likes to take some time to warm up, please the crowd. But I think Holland in the distance and KO, it's not too big of a difference in price wise. But I just really see the KO here. I think it's going to launch him.
I love that. The only reason I'm cheering for the sub too is, I mean, he's tweeting it all the time. He's going to choke out the dirty bird. That's his own words, right? So I would love that. I mean, I didn't go too crazy, and I just noticed the line was wide, so I took a stab on it. Just give me his money line. I think that knockout is definitely live. I'm tempted to pull the inside the distance line as well, but I don't want to be too overexposed to it. He has been headbutted before. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think he wins here. I think he's one of my 2 favorite parlay pieces, even though we all know that I'm parlaying with Gloria DePaulo. So what do I know? Anyways, I think it's going to be a great fight. Little short breakdown. Go Kevin Holland. All right. Oh, on that fight as well, for all those who play Prize Picks, Underdog, and Thrive Fantasy, use code Gordo if you use Thrive Fantasy. My co-host I had on this week, is pretty big on the Kevin Holland props. His over in his fantasy scores, over in his knockdowns. I don't mind that. Go Kevin Holland. Trailblazer says himself he's going to choke with a dirty bird, but we all know Kev bet himself. Oh, and he's also, who's Kevin Holland betting against? Did you see that?
No.
He took on a YouTube MMA capper. And he bet 20 grand on himself versus the guy. Oh, the fortune teller or something like that.
Oh. Well.
Did you not see any of that?
No.
So he picked Tim Means
against him. I
have to
go look at that. I guess I got to go look at that, right after this.
So I know nothing about this Teller guy. I looked him up. Of course, he has got a decent following. But he commented that Tim Means is going to win. Gave his explanation why. Kevin Holland said, "Oh, if you're such a big deal about it, 20 grand on it." You go, "Sure, I'll take 20 grand on it." I bet Bert. Oh, was it Bert?
No, he's busting your balls, dude.
Oh, okay.
Bert don't have.
Bert's 20K. A legend. I know.
Bert has 20K followers. You don't have 20K dollars.
Yeah. So Tyler was going off, and Kevin Hall made that bet. He's like, "I'll bet you 20K." I yada yada yada. I think it's hilarious. I don't know if Tyler's actually going to do it, but Tyler's going off saying he's the best capper out here. If you're betting 20K on Tim Means, then you got some balls, because I think the Trailblazer does choke out the Dirty Bird or just wins in general. But all right, moving along. We got 2
Imagine having
left.
20 grand on Tim Means. Like, even if you like the Tim Means, even if you liked it, the Means side, like, what is he 40 yet? 39? I have him up right now. He's 38. I mean,
he's been
against a guy in his athletic prime. Like, even if the skill sets, like, even if you think Means has a clear skill set advantage, which I don't, wow, like, that's insanity. But just give me the 20,000. I can't tell you what I would spend it on, but I will tell you it will rhyme with Booker's and hello.
Okay, next fight up, Donald Cerrone. All right, at least you know what you got it set in mind to. But Donald Cerrone, 36-16. Joe Lozon, 28-15. We've broken down this fight before.
Yes, we have.
I don't want to see this fight, really.
Have you changed your bet? Have you changed your bet since the last time?
I have not locked it in again.
Okay,
I'll tell you that, to be honest. I should probably look at that. 2 older guys in the division, 2 fighters on the decline. Unfortunately, because I like them both, I want them to have a good, happy retirement after this. I think violence is the way to go. I missed the boat on it. I haven't bet it.
Because you love them both, you hope one of them dies.
No, I hope there isn't violence because I like them both. But I do think that in all likelihood, this fight is going under 2.5 easily. And I was very close to betting it, but trigger discipline. Last time I broke this down, I was on Lozon round 1. I'll have to look at the odds. I think it's what, plus 1,000 now.
For KO is 1,000, and just round 1 in general is 600, which is weird because unless he gets like a tap by strikes, I'm not saying Lozon can't sub him, but I just don't think that's the strategy here. I would imagine that's not the strategy. I think it's
Lozon round 1, Cerrone round 2.
Yep.
It's a tough one. I like them both. I have so much respect for them, but they are both in a decline. Is Donald Cerrone's heart still in it? I can't tell you that for sure. I have no idea. I hope he wins. I'll be cheering for him. But this is a spot where you just hope that they go out with a bang, with a nice little under 2.5, with a nice little DraftKings play. I'm going to cheer for Donald Cerrone.
How about a double KO round 1?
A draw.
Double knockout.
Double yam bags.
Oh, I didn't give away my yam bag bet either. I'll do that at the end.
Okay.
I forgot.
Do you see this any different, or how do you see this one going down?
No, and this is the first bet I locked in all week. Was fight doesn't start round 3. I got it at like minus 118.
Smart, man.
Ironically enough, this was the bet that I was going to do for John Kelly's show like weeks ago, and the fight got canceled. So this week, this was going to be the bet for John Kelly's show, and now he's not available. So apparently, I was not meant to get this bet in on John Kelly's show. But I'm with you. I think Lozon round 1.
The feds are on to you, man.
I'm going to be honest. I think this is a paycheck fight for Cerrone. It breaks my heart. I love the guy. He's not really training. I mean, I listened to Cody Safick the other day, and he had some really interesting points about like guys making movies. He's training with Sasha Politnikov, like when he can. He's spending no time in the gym. I just don't think there's like real motivation for him other than just professional pride. Whereas Lozon, I mean, he's a gamer. We know what he's going to do, and I don't think Cerrone can stop that oncoming storm the first 3-4 minutes. So I'm going to get there. It's sad. The violence is definitely, but I'm with you. Like, I think Cerrone round 2 is a good look, and it's a good live bet spot if Lozon does not get him out of there in the first. So what's weird to me, join
you on this.
I got to tell you one thing that it does is weird to me here. When we get these rebooked fights, typically these lines get moved because they know what we want to do. This line had a lot of resistance like this week. Like the time props didn't move too much. The money line didn't move too much. I mean, like I don't think that's like you're showing me like even money to -124. It's weird that it even reopened at -102 because I think that thing opened it, or I think it closed at like -130 the last time they booked this. So it's really strange to me that like, is it early money hitting those totals over? I don't know. I don't know how you ever go. Just like I like these splits earlier. There's no way I'm comfortable ever having an over in this fight.
I might join you on this fight. Doesn't start round 3.
Bring on the violence, bro. It's reasonably priced for what I think is 8 to 9 out of 10 times. This fight just, doesn't even get out of the first.
All right, guys. I agree. And with that, we're on to our main event of the evening. Before we break this one down, first of all, like button down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. We got one left, Lou. We got the Boston finisher, 23-5 Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, the knockdown king himself, 17-2. I've broken this fight down way too much this week, so I've gotten okay at it. But you got the guy Calvin Kattar, super fun fight tape, really durable. Just ask Max Holloway. I mean, I can watch that fight over and over again. But super powerful, super durable versus a guy in Josh Emmett who is like the knockdown king. I mean, you're going to have a guy who's never been knocked down versus a guy who has knocked down in 7 straight fights. What do you see going down? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
So I'm on the Kattar side, but the way I want to play this, I unfortunately can't because I'm not going to be seeing it live. But to me, the right way to play this is if you do favor the Kattar side, and you wrap him in a lot of parlays. I don't know how Emmett wins a decision here. I think Emmett wins. If he wins, it's by KO. I think we know the volume we're getting from Kattar. He's going to completely out volume unless he gets caught. To me, if you want to hedge out the main event and go Emmett KO, it's still plus 450 on a lot of books. You could spend a little. I mean, you don't have to even spend much to get a true hedge opportunity there. Or you could do fight to end in KO as a hedge, and then you could maybe double up. But I just don't see how Emmett wins a decision. I think his win condition's the knockout. I know it's not like a super sharp analysis, but I think we've seen the volume from Kattar, and
it's there.
People like we were talking before the show, like people that are talking about his striking defense. It's like, well, yeah, like you got to take one fight out of his striking defense, and it's pretty good. His numbers are very good. One fight skewed the whole thing. So, Emmett is not a high volume striker to begin with. I mean, he moves well, but he's a power puncher, and I just don't think he steals rounds with the volume that Kattar is going to put on him. What about you, man?
I'm with you. I think that it's really going to be one of those fights where Kattar's going to be winning until he isn't, kind of thing, But I do think that he's able to withstand that damage. If he had a questionable chin, that'd be a different story. But he's shown to be durable. He's shown that he's going to have the pressure. He's going to have the durability. He's going to have the striking output the whole time. And you're right. It's like Emmett's not a volume guy. He's a power guy. So his path to victory is a knockout. So if you're betting Emmett, why not just bet that? But point being, Calvin Kattar's going to be out here. He's going to come forward. He's going to put pressure on you. He's going to land a ton of shots. He's a very accurate, great boxer. And for that reason, I think that this is Kattar's fight to lose. Right? I'm on Kattar. I think that Emmett's going to withstand the early onslaught, or he's going to be able to survive the first couple of rounds. But I'm on Kattar around 4 or 5 decision at plus money. I think that it's the way this fight goes a lot of the time. I think Kattar drowns him and finishes him late. I'm gonna call round 5. It could be earlier.
I definitely see the late KO. The late KO here is absolutely in play.
But it's I think it's to be a fun fight. Kattar's got great output. He is I think my favorite DraftKings target of the week. You just got to be scared every time Emmett throws because he puts people down that don't usually get put down, right? So
yeah. And by the way, if you've been betting on Emmett every fight, you've made yourself quite a bit of money because he's come through I think he's 4-1 as a dog. So he's come through a lot as an underdog, but this is a very different stylistic fight. The Burgos fight is probably similar in terms of a guy with volume. I just don't, but Kattar's durability is so much better.
Yeah.
And he's more accurate. He's way more accurate.
More accurate and a lot better defensively as well.
Yeah, Burgos he's not responsible defensively. And it's costing him now a lot of fight. It almost cost him the Billy Q fight. I mean, I had a huge bet on Billy Q, out of total bias. I was like, come on. And I got the decision. I knew I lost, but I was like, 29-28.
I think that is going to be a great scrap. Calvin Kattar is going to push forward. He's proved me wrong early in the year. I've doubted him way too much. But I think it shows out here. Josh Emmett's going to have that puncher's chance, but then again, who doesn't, right? If Calvin Kattar was like Phil Hawes and the fact he could slip on a banana peel, sure, I'd look towards Emmett. I think he's very defensively sound. I think he's very smart. I think he's very durable. I think he edges out either round 5 or decision win. Give me that plus money on that all day. With that, though, that concludes our full card breakdown. I appreciate you for joining me. I know you got a very busy weekend ahead, so I appreciate you taking out the time to join me. Always. Now, this is the time where after Luke tells you where you can find him, you can now check out all my other stuff. I have a DFS video posted on the channel. I started a new segment this week. Prop show about Thrive, Underdog, and Prize Picks, as well as my DraftKings breakdown of Pub Sports. I got tons of content out there. But before we do that, we got to say a big shout out to our boy, Luke Betcha. Let them know where they can find you. Let them know where they can find all your incredible work, because I know you've been grinding recently.
I don't know if I would call it incredible, but I will call it different and unique. I will say that much. You find me at Twitter at Luke Betcha. Find me on MMAEngine, YouTube, and Twitter. That's our company. It's myself. DFS by the numbers, Brady, Wheezy, and Monk, Maddox. We cover DFS, we cover gambling. I'm like the cook, and they let me on the channel here and there to do some breakdowns. But we're doing some really fun stuff. And the Chavez Ramos fight is the Yambag special, by the way. I did play a point deduction on that. I did see there's really no science to this except that I remember seeing the most ball shots in tape in that fight than anything else. And I'm like, there's really no science to this thing. It's just $5 that somebody's going to get, a couple of low. Maybe I actually think Chavez will be the one that just kicks him low repeatedly and gets the point taken, but it's a cheap bet. But yeah, Twitter, and then have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. I'm taking 2 days off. I'll be recharged Sunday night when I come back.
For sure, man. Thanks again for having me on. Hopefully you're my good luck charm, because if you go 7-1 again, you're back next week. I'm telling you that.
Well, we're on the same side of a lot of these, so I sure hope so.
I hope so as well. All right, enjoy your weekend. Thank you everybody for hanging out throughout.
Thanks, Frank.
What is it? Is it the afternoon? Yeah, thanks, Frank. Great talk with you as well. I appreciate you, Frank Nguyen, for tuning in. But that's going to do it for us here on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. Under an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to let you go. Now's the time you can check out all my work. I got a long list of stuff. So we have a DFS video on the channel, my favorite one I do all week, going over the whole card breakdown, top to bottom. Let me know who I'm targeting, what ownership I have, and all that. I have that on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I then have my best bets video on the Current MMA YouTube channel. I did a DraftKings breakdown with your MMAEngine friends, with Brady, Monk, Uncle Weezy's. I did that one on Pub Sports on Wednesday, and I also have a new segment in the show this week with the prop drop. So I let everybody know about Thrive Fantasy, Underdog Fantasy, and Prize Picks. I know you got a lot of videos, so if you guys want to know anything more, check me out on Twitter at GamblesGordo. Appreciate you, Eric. I know I'll be seeing you soon. It'll be. Oh no, I can be a dick sometimes.
Can we have age brackets for this?
Age brackets. All right.
Can you be
so you know how old I am?
Yeah, 20. Right.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Do you know how old I am? You son of a bitch.
25.
Sure. Sure.
Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Good luck on all your bets this week. And Lou, enjoy yourself, and let's make some